Good evening, everyone. We're gonna get started. We're gonna do a roll call first, call to order.
Mrs. Petropoulos.
Here.
Mrs. Wesson.
Here.
Mrs. Lamb.
Here.
Mrs. Grove. Here. Mrs. Birkin. Absent. Mrs. Schroeder. Here. Mr. Zeman.
Here.
Okay, so let's say a pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so thanks everyone for coming. We're gonna have an introduction of some guests now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. This is one of our favorite events we do every year, honoring our students for their second trimester. Absolutely wonderful grades. Before we get started on that though, we do have a couple staff members that we would like to recognize this evening. So first up, I'm going to call Dr. Karen Dempsey to come on up. So Dr. Dempsey, as many of you from the Ridgelawn family know, has been an art teacher there for many, many years, 33 years. So he's not leaving us yet, which we're very happy about. But we did want to recognize her because Dr. Dempsey has been working very hard since 2020 to get her doctoral degree. And she just defended her dissertation, so she can officially be called Dr. Dempsey. So we wanted to give her a nice round. We want to get a picture. The next two staff members that we would like to recognize and ask them to come up at the same time. We have Mrs. Jen Colby and Mrs. Mary Ryan. So Mrs. Ryan is one of our kindergarten teachers at Ridgelawn. And Mrs. Colby is our math coach, and she also helps out all around the building. And unfortunately, last month, we had a kindergarten student during lunchtime start choking really, really bad. To the point where the Heimlich maneuver had to be performed on the student. And you never know as an adult, if you're training, how it's going to kick in and if you're going to be able to stay calm for everyone. We could not be more impressed with Mrs. Ryan and Mrs. Colby for not only performing that and saving the child, but just keeping them calm and keeping all the other students calm who witnessed it. We just wanted to thank you as all of our staff, we look out for our kids, but you guys definitely went above and beyond, and we just wanted to thank you for that. So next we're going to move to our student awards, and I'm going to ask that Mr. Younger and Ms. Fabian to give us 50 junior high.
We'd like to say it's great to have everybody here in the NPR. Each trimester we do this, and it's always a highlight. I would like to congratulate all of our Finley students that are here for putting in the hard work here in the second trimester and being here tonight. So I'm going to let Mrs. Bazian call the names for the sixth grade group. And then we'll have you guys just stand up here. We'll take a picture by grade level. When you're completed with the picture, we'll let each grade level go through and grab one fruit snack, one Taki, and one of those tree shots, okay?
Perfect. Good thing for luck. So for the sixth grade, I have Abdel Nasser Abu Baker. Double G. Yamama Alpha, sorry. Mohammed Awad. Stella Butcher. Olivia Dominic. Haja Drayson. Anine Jaber. Davion Jordan. Maya Kaza. Isabella Camosa. Naima Lowry Jackson. Claire Booth. Martinez. Logan Malgoza. Isaac Open. Kayla Reese Hewitt. Adam Radzinsky. Mohammed Rafati. Jenna Samara. Harrison Schmidt. Sadia Cobb. And Janine Houston.
Yeah. There you go. There they go. We good? Right over there.
Tippy toes, Chrissy. Keep smiling.
Congratulations, everyone. Yeah. All right, now for our seventh grade group. Starting with Malik Alawi. Nabil Latrouf. Liliana Demara. Adrice Falah. Jaden Hernandez. Hugain Mata. Waleed Rafadi. Sarah Chiu. Zachary Willard. Mina Zayed.
And then last but not least, our 8th grade group, starting with Brianna Albertoni. Julian Connell. Carissa Doyle. Salah Makla. Deanna Moore. Miguel Levine Jr. Alex Radzinski. Sophia Rubio. Sophia Scoble. Data Fernansky. Megan Guido. Caitlin Tarquino. Last but not least, Diana Valente.
Slide down to about where I'm at. You can find out real quick. The third is Mrs. Carl and Mrs. Ken here, come up for Ridge Law School. There you go.
All right, well, this evening, we are very much representing on school. I was talking with her. We have our fourth and fifth graders here tonight to represent our straight A honor award. So starting with Lean Jaber. Lot of ladies. Amir Mata. What?
Jack, Jenna,
You guys like these music here, don't you? I'm proud for a long time.
That would be so much fun. All right, that's okay.
And while they're getting their treats, I'm gonna ask that Dr. King and Mrs. Geyer come up for Ridge Central.
No one wants to take a picture of you.
I got one. I want to.
No, nothing, nada.
Our members start with our fourth graders. We have Sawyer Rush. Angeline Paul. Rosa Fowler. Brooklyn Gibson. Luke Jagoda. Caleb McDaniel Puckett. Maddox Lloyd. Elena Potter. Eduardo Ramos. Flora. Fourth grader.
I think. We didn't do one. One or two roses, not many. Okay.
Hey, great job, guys.
One lucky fourth grader. We're gonna start with Anthony Calderon. Noah Pereira. Olivia Jordan. April Orlando. Victoria Santiago. Elsie Sarga. Carter John. Amaria Brooks. Alexander Grant. Violet Bogart. Zachariah Fala. Marlene Romo. And Alejandro Vieira.
There you go.
Congratulations, everyone. Once again, I'd like to congratulate everyone on a great, second trimester. It's down to really strong and really hard to be happy. We've been keep working hard, I hope to stay back here in the new. We're going to welcome the day for the rest of the board meeting. If you want to enjoy the weather, now you probably some time, out. I'm going to the rest of the night.
No.
My best friend.
Mama.
My best friend.
Doesn't work.
Congratulations, son. Ken? Yeah. Keep up that.
All right. That cleared up.
Maybe it'll cool off now.
Then whenever you're ready, we can approve the consent agenda.
Okay, guys, thanks. Hopefully it'll cool off now because it's a little warm. We are going to move on to 3.0, the approval of the consent agenda. Looking for a motion? Anthony on the second.
This is Lamb.
Hi.
Schroeder. Mr. Medina. Mrs. Hudson.
Aye.
Mrs. Rose.
Aye. 4.0 superintendent report.
Good evening, everyone. Gonna jump right in. Our PTA, we have our family volleyball event this Friday. We moved the time up a little earlier than usual. They wanted to see if we can get a few more junior high kids. One of the things they've realized for a lot of the PTA events, we get really good turnout for the elementary, but not always for junior high. So they're moving that up to see if they'll come right back. And we also have on April 12th, the next event is the PTA Glow Dance Party over at Ridge Lawn. So those are the two upcoming events for the PTA. We have our reports. You can see the pictures in there of our 100th day of school. I always like seeing the people dress up as really old 100-year-olds. We also finished up our One District, One Book, which seemed like it went very successful. Remember, we had a different book read this year by the elementary and the junior high. So hopefully you got a chance to do that. We're doing that at home right now with my own kid's school. And then the last thing I wanted to report out, which is not in your school report, but Findlay Junior High's declamation team finished first place in the entire conference. It's just been. So about 10 years ago, our conference used to have a spelling bee and moved to the speech declamation event when they saw that a lot of kids didn't want to do spelling, but speech was becoming so huge at the high school. And I just remember watching Findlay from another school, and they would get like 2 kids come out, and they worked hard, but they didn't have enough. And to go from that, and Mr. Peel has been the coach forever, and to get them where they won the entire conference is quite an accomplishment. So I talked to Mr. Peel. We are going to be inviting both him and his team to the next board meeting to recognize them. So we're very excited about that. 4.3, our enrollment report. We had 1,463 students, which is the exact number of students that we had last month, and we're up 4 students from this time last year. When we look at, 4.4, our vacant positions and possible staffing needs, they really have not changed that much. Starting tomorrow, I'll be posting a lot more positions for our school year next year. And you'll see later on, we have a music teacher I'll talk about that we are looking to hire for the rest of this year and next year. And then we have a couple other positions that we're ready to get going on. But I do want to point out, 218 did host their first ever job fair with surrounding districts. There were 7 of us who went. And when I went to UIC last year for job fair, I saw 3 people in 3 hours. This time there were over 60 people there, and I took back 17 resumes. So that was really nice to see. I think it's going to become an annual thing. And then Caroline just went to a job fair this weekend in Oak Brook. And saw a lot of EL and special ed staff members there. So I appreciate that she went out there and did that for us. And that's between trying to get student teachers to come into our buildings and to really get our name out there. That's what we've been trying to do over the last couple of years. 4.5 is our paraprofessional mentoring program. And we have both Kenneth James and Lisa Lockwood back there from CRES. I've been working with them, but specifically Kenneth from the beginning of trying to bring a paraprofessional mentoring program. We talked about it at our last meeting, and we'll be asking for approval not only of the program later on, but the stipend amounts of $450 for if they do have one mentor, or $800 for a second. And I'd also share with you that Kenneth and I had talked with a group from Utah last month about coming out and doing some training, and they wanted $19,000 for that training. Talked to the ISC4, and they had been working on putting together a paraprofessional program. where they will be charging $495 per participant, which will come in much cheaper for us. And it's nice because we will be able to work real closely with them and make sure it caters to our needs. It might not just be our district coming at that time, but we have also offered to host that. So that usually comes with some discounts and things like that. So we're excited, and it's been nice working with them. I think it's something we both want to see happen. 4.6 is our April board meeting. Our board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 9th. Now, we have the next day off for Eid on Wednesday, April 10th. So I just wanted to see with the board, it doesn't matter to me either way, but moving that meeting up to the Monday, just to make it so if more people wanted to come to the meeting, I wanted to give them that option, but it's also okay if we leave it to that date. So just wanted to see kind of what your calendars look like, what you felt. And if we do decide that we want to change it, we would vote on that later. If not, if we're going to keep it, we can just table that. But just wanted to kind of open that up for discussion.
I think it's in the best interest of our community to move it to Monday.
Okay.
As long as you have a quorum, I cannot be here. It's 1 week before the end of taxes.
Okay. Would that be the same either way, though?
No,
Okay.
I'm Monday, Friday nights.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, I will not.
Okay. Joanna, do you think you're able to make either day?
Yes.
It would be fine with me. either
Okay.
way.
All right, Joy and Tony, you said yes? Okay, all right, so then I would recommend we take a vote on it when we get to that point later in the meeting. My only other is an important one for the board. We just received yesterday our email for the statement of economic interest that is due on May 1st. For those of you doing it for the first time, if you have any questions, please reach out to another board member or myself. And Lori kind of knows how this works really well also. So it comes every single year. You do have to have it done by May 1st or the state will fine you. They look at every way to get our money possible. So just make sure that we get that done. But it should have gone to your email address. If you have not seen it, please let us know right away so we can see what's going on.
Too bad we can't sit and do that together.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, we can take a look at it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Notnagel for the curriculum director's report.
So 5 is the health curriculum, curriculum presentation and textbook presentation. I do have a
Actually, no, yours is perfect. You do that and I'll move on.
changes that if teachers that I have through this year, Cyrus and Jeff, along with Audra from State Team Curriculum Director there. She's really supported the team, not only through learning about research practices, but also on how we can change our curriculum implementation and structure to really meet the needs of the students in a more comprehensive way. So we do have a timeline that started at the very beginning of the year with Audra coming out and meeting with our PE teachers across the district, or PE/health at the junior high. And like I said, just talking about those research-based practices for implementation. The junior high health and PE teachers have actually gone through a 1-month course a development called Take the Leap, a new look at health education, to make sure that they are up to speed on all of the new research and information regarding health education in current time. We then started to talk about program changes, curriculum adoptions, the need for a new health textbook. And so the team, Bonnie, Cyrus, and Jeff, have worked with Audra and done a lot of that curriculum work, which I'll talk about today. And then in the winter, started reviewing and looking at different resources for health, so we can make a recommendation today for the board to consider. And then this is that process, as I had said in the February 20 session, I had shared out a lot of information that I'll share out and brief with all of you today about the Illinois state standards, the program changes specific to PE and health at the junior high, and then we're going to get curriculum development and scope and sequence work that those junior high staff members did. Today, we will be recommending a resource to the Board of Education, and then at the next board meeting in April, asking for the board to hopefully approve that textbook for implementation next year. And between those 2 days, between today and April 9th, the textbook will sit in the boardroom office here in the district office, so that anyone that wants to from the community come and review that resource, they're welcome to do that. Look through the textbook that we have available, for you to look at. So the recommended program changes is starting in the 24-25 school year. The students will have PE and health, throughout all 3 trimesters. So currently, they have 2 trimesters of PE and 1 trimester of health, which does pose some problems, especially for that last trimester of getting health. Teachers are at the very end of the year, having a difficult time of building relationships in a quick manner to try to get them engaged, especially at the end of the year. And so we want to make sure that the information that we're sharing with the students is viral throughout the year for all 3 trimesters, and that we can build relationships with those students from day one and sustain that relationship throughout. So the PE and health teacher will actually be with that cohort of students throughout the entire year. So instead of them going to PE with one teacher and then getting a different teacher for health, and then coming back to the PE teacher trimester 3, the PE/health teacher will keep that group the whole entire time to really be able to sustain and build a strong relationship throughout, so that the focus can be on learning and strengthening the relationship. So there's a table here that just goes to show within each trimester the rotation that will happen. So teacher 1, for example, will teach PE for 20 days, PE for 20 days, and then health for 20 days, and then that repeat for trimester 2, trimester 3. So it's still the same amount of content, it's still the same amount of days, it's just spanned over the whole school year instead of just kind of what do you say, like
Pressed.
yes, thank you. And I almost said compromise, but that's definitely not the word there. Kind of compacted into 1 trimester. So it's important for the students to understand the importance of health and the importance of physical education. And we feel that this will allow them to really dedicate themselves to learning throughout the entire trimester for each one of those. And then here we are going to continue to implement the Illinois state standards for PE and health. As I mentioned, the standards will be spiraled and the stages of the descriptors for those standards will be different for each grade level. So 6, 7, 8, the way the standards are written, they're 6 through 8, but the descriptors define further the depth that the teachers will be taking with each one of those standards. And this is the work that Bonnie, Jeff, and Cyrus did with Audra and on their own as well, especially with learning and applying what they're learning to that district curriculum guide. So it is a document that they will be able to use to follow along with to ensure that all of our students are getting what they're supposed to be getting, and that they're staying on pace with that. So when they graduate from 8th grade, they've got the comprehensive physical education and health lesson and teaching and learn all that they need to learn.
And then to interject,
Please.
this is the same model that freshman year uses at Richards, so it'll prepare them for that.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yep. And that's one of the great reasons on why Jeff Youngberg actually reached out to Audra, who is the PE health curriculum director in 218, because he researched and realized that they were doing this and this approach and the program changes at the high school level will now be embedded in our 6 through 8 building as well. And like I said, thanks to Bonnie, and she's here representing, but all of the work that she has done this year, learning.
Yeah, well, what I like about this whole thing is because now we're with our set of students and we can actually delve into the fact of smartphones. When we get rid of them, they go to another teacher and now I can be with them and throughout the year about achieving SMART goals and achieving healthy lifestyle skills. So we have the same with the students throughout the year.
Thank you for sharing that. And so the group that we did look at a couple different resources, and because the district does follow those Illinois state standards, we did need to make sure that the resource that we recommend to all of you today does align to those Illinois standards. And so this is a resource that actually Bonnie had found and shared with me. And it's the Essentials Health Skills for middle school by a publisher called GW Publisher. We will purchase, hopefully if approved by the board in April, a set of class textbooks that the students will be able to have their hands on with, but then there will also be, hopefully next year, we're moving forward with online access. Our recommendation is that we do a 1-year trial with the online access to see how much
The teachers are implementing that resource in the classrooms and then make a decision moving on from there if it's something that we want to continue. The teachers had really said, you know what, let's try it out. Let's not commit to 6 years yet because if it's not something we use, we don't want to purchase that at this time. So there's also teacher hardcover manuals, which we're excited about, and then teacher online access as well for them to use as planning. That includes support with pacing guides and modules specific to some of the work that they've been doing, kind of aligns with that as well. Any questions?
Is there workbook? Oh, sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't see your
Raise
hand.
a hand, we're in school.
I obviously will take a shit.
I couldn't see, Adam was in the way. You can go ahead now.
Thank you so much. So here with I understand the thought process and having the students stay with the same teacher to have that relationship built, but is there an opportunity, is there a chance that a 6th grade student could have the same teacher all 3 years?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So
That would be something that Julie.
we would have to work in it with the schedule. And I don't think,
6 figures.
I think it actually, it's more, we have to determine if that we would dedicate a health PE teacher to each grade level. Or if there would be varied, but it would have to, I assume, start with a conversation with Julie Basie and determined by the schedule and what is allowable for the schedule because of where those students are going on the outside of that time.
With each of them are teaching the section, they're like, all 3 of them are teaching during the same period.
So they would all have students that
They would all have 6 grade every single year, but that's something that we could look at. I mean, it would be a lot of tracking. I mean, I think our goal would be to not have them have the same person. I mean, that would be a lot.
They still are with, when we have physical education.
They're gonna see
No
no
way
way
for teacher, co-teacher, there's 2 of us in that.
they kind of do it together, but no, I mean, that could be, that's a good point. I mean, it's something that you can look at, I think trying to track that would be a lot, but not saying that it wouldn't be able to be done.
I mean, there's positive to and negatives to
Yeah.
both. There's positives with having the same teacher, but it sometimes behooves students to be with different teachers,
And the
different learning
teachers.
styles.
Yeah.
Yes, so.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's something for at least kind of moving into next year when we do start scheduling, like just kind of thinking that like that our mind, kind of trying to keep like a master roster or something to when then we schedule the following year, just to see how that goes.
Yeah, thank you for that question.
And all the teachers think that this is a great solution to having the same students the entire year,
Yes.
all 3 PE.
Yeah, well, we discussed that there was some pros and cons of it, or, you know, you could have a very challenging group of students. But what we, the best of it is learning to see them grow as a unit and not to be thinking of health and physical education as separate, but as the entire thing is health and wellness. So I like the idea of concept of health and wellness, how does physical education also go into health? You know, we should be separated the 2. So, yes, we think it's a very good thing, and that's what most junior highs are doing anyway. Most junior highs may have 2 gyms and weightlifting and all that stuff like Richards, but it's a good thing.
I know you didn't raise your hand. Workbooks.
Yeah.
There are no workbooks with this
Yeah.
research.
Thank you for remembering what I said, because it was gone. I was thinking of another follow-up question for what she said, but
The online resource is very abundant. We actually went through the online resource and had a chance to see this with a portion of it. And that is what we really wanted, because right now we're with very dated books in our room. They're just like the from the 1990s. And so we like the fact that each student will have an online resource that we can actually offer Google Forms with it. So it's very friendly, it's very user friendly. So, yeah.
And I did talk with Mr. Youngberg specific to the consideration of grading and the percentages and things like that. So we'll make sure that we have set up in Power School how to ensure that those grades are weighted specifically.
equally,
to
yeah,
support
that was one of the questions that we had last time about it. No, the workbook question was only because in the past, maybe due to the fact that the supplementary material was so old that a lot of resources were taken offline and not fully vetted and then given it to students. So the idea of having a new book and curriculum is a fantastic one, but if it's not used, that's always my concern,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Very comprehensive, like Bonnie said. Any other questions?
Do you have any other?
I do have another, just wanted to make sure the board remembered that our students are currently in IAR, Illinois Assessment of Readiness testing, along with the science assessment for our 5th and 8th graders. So that's been going strong. We started last week with testing. Some schools or even grade levels are finished with testing at this point. Or working towards being finished at this point. So just wanted to share the principals have done a great job of piping this up and making sure that the students are ready and engaged for their tests and everything.
Thank you, Mrs. Nabego.
Thank you.
We're going to turn it over to the chief school business officials report.
Okay, just to put things to the board to find, the first one is just the addition of the vendors over 25,000 for the school year. At the beginning of every school year, we have to post our vendors over the 25,000 threshold on the website. The year when we add any vendors that were not on that list, so that is in your board packet. And the second thing is, we did just, conclude our 3-year food service administrative review. It is, a 2-part, process, and the management review got 100%. That's really just all the data that reported for our reimbursement. And the second is the compliance piece of it, where a representative from EPS comes out. They sat with myself and the representative from Class, and they go over all our policies, start to finish. And then they also do an on-site review of the food program itself. So that was located at Finley this year, and the staff did an amazing job. There were absolutely no concerns on what we're serving food, how we're serving it, and the reimbursable meal count. So that was a big plus. They really did a good job, and I just have to say, all 3 schools do a great job at feeding our students every day. And the only finding there is our current policy and the board policy is not up to ISB standards. So we are going to be required to redo that. They've actually already sent me a template to do that. You basically kind of fill in the blanks. I've already asked Bonnie if she would be on the committee with us, and she agreed. And so we'll be bringing that to the board next month for approval.
Thanks, Kathy. No others other than that?
7.0 old business,
Nothing.
7.1 other.
No.
8.0 new business. Okay, 8.1, potential board action to approve the mentoring program for paraprofessionals.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second it.
Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove. Aye. Mrs. Lambert.
Aye.
Mrs. Levatur.
Aye.
Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. 8.2, potential board action to approve the mentor stipend for paraprofessional mentoring program in the amount of $450 for mentoring 1 staff member and $800 for mentoring multiple.
Make a motion. I'll second. You said Mrs. Grove on the motion?
Yes.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Levatur.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. Mrs. Lambert.
Aye.
Mrs. Grove. Aye. Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. 8.3, potential board action to designate a person to prepare the 24-25 budget.
And actually, you would be looking to make me the designated person so that I can then pass it over to somebody else.
So-
What do I make the motion
You're making a motion to designate
to
Adam.
designate Dr. Thorns as the person to prepare the 2024-25 budget.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Yeah.
Oh,
Mrs.
Sorry.
Grove.
I
Aye.
didn't hear.
Mrs. Levatur.
Aye.
Mrs. Lambert.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. And Mrs. Petropoulos.
Aye. 8.4, potential board action to place the health education curriculum on public display.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Mrs. LeBudget.
Aye.
Mrs. Lane. Aye. Mrs. Rowe. Aye. Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. Mrs. Petracca.
Aye, 8.5, potential board action to approve additional vendors over $25,000 for the 23-24 school year.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I actually heard Mr. Medina. Mrs. Lamb.
Aye.
Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. Mrs. LeBudget.
Aye.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowe. Aye. Mrs. Petracca.
8.0, aye, sorry. Aye.
Hot message, Brad.
8.6, potential board action to change the April 9th board meeting to April 8th on Monday.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. LeBudget.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowe. Aye. Mrs. Schroeder. Aye. Mrs. Lynn.
Abstain.
And Mrs. Petracca.
Aye. Okay, 8.7 other.
Nothing.
9.0 meeting reports,
Nothing.
9.1 other,
Nothing.
10.0 informational,
Nothing.
10.1 other,
Nothing.
11.0 opportunity for visitors to speak. Say it 3 times, do it.
No.
Okay, 12.0 is president's prerogative. And I just have a few things to say. We are down to the stretch. I feel like after spring break, it is just straight out. So I really appreciate everyone kind of as the weather starts to get warmer, the kids start to get a little wild. So everyone in the buildings for really all the hard work that I know that they're about to be embarking on. It was amazing to see so many students and parents here being nominated. And with that support, and it is a true testament of the staff. That parents and students are wanting to come out, and of the administrators for making everyone feel so welcome. In addition, I love the fact that we were able to honor 3 of our staff members. Getting a doctoral degree is not easy, and going against your dissertation, that is amazing. Also, as a teacher myself, being in a high pressure situation is never easy, and to have 2 of our staff members who are able to step up and administer a Heimlich maneuver on a small child is nothing beyond a miracle. I feel like I would be nervous to do it on my own child. So to be able to just show them how appreciated they are, the whole board is just so grateful that we have such amazing teachers and staff members in all the buildings. So again, thank you to everyone, and just thank you to creating such good students who are all getting on these high honors. So thanks. That's
Thank
it for that.
All right.
So 13.0 is
I'm ready to go.
adjournment to closed session.
Yes, for the discussion, appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, including hearing testimony and a complaint lodged against an employee of the public body or against legal counsel for the public body to determine its validity. However, a meeting to consider an increase in compensation to a specific employee of a public body that is subject to the Local Government Wage Increase Transparency Act may not be closed and shall be open to the public and posted and held in accordance with this act as defined in the Open Meetings Act, Section 2C1. The discussion of collective negotiated matters between the public body, its employees, or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees as described in Section 2C2. The discussion of security measures and the use of personnel and equipment to respond to an actually threatened or reasonably potential danger to the safety of employees, students, the staff, the public, or public property as defined in Section 2C8. The discussion of pending or probable and imminent litigation against, affecting, or on behalf of the district as defined in Section 2C11, and the discussion of minutes of prior meetings lawfully closed under the Open Meetings Act as defined in Section 2C21 for the purpose of review, approval, or release of such minutes. We will not be discussing any student disciplinary cases during this meeting.
Schroeder. Aye. Mrs. LeBudget.
Aye.
Mrs. Lynn. Aye. Mr. Medina.
Aye.
Mrs. Rowe. Aye. Mrs. Petracca.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.